9 times the speed of sound. Roger.
Whoops, I did it again. Some of you guys may remember a few years ago I picked up a broken S4 Cabriolet, B6 to be exact. And some of you guys may remember I have not actually done anything with this car yet. However, I went ahead and picked up another broken S4. Now, before you think I'm absolutely insane, this thing is a manual 4.2 liter V8, while the Cabriolet is automatic. And I basically bought this car with the sole purpose of tearing the transmission and diff out and swapping them into the Cabriolet. However, after I went to see the car, I realized that perhaps it's a little bit too nice to scrap. I'm not saying it's perfect, it's pretty dirty. But as far as S4s go, for pretty cheap, I think we may be able to get it fixed this one. So very quickly, let's see if we can get this motor started. It's been sitting around for quite a while. I believe the previous owner said that he got a bunch of misfires on one of the banks. He thinks the chains need to be done. And I was not really able to check it very well at the time I went to look at it, other than crank it and see it wasn't seized. The code seemed to suggest perhaps it's an upper chain tensioner, like we did on the Q5. So maybe, just maybe, if we're lucky, I'm not gonna have to pull the engine out of this and do a full chain job. Rather, I might be able to just do the tensioner at the top and get the car back up on the road. So very quickly in this episode, let's poke our head inside the cylinders and see if we can crank this motor, see if we can start this motor, see if we can clear all the codes, because obviously the battery's been disconnected for a while, and whether we can actually salvage it. Before I go ahead and crank this, I just want to make sure that the pistons are not damaged. So let's take a look inside the cylinders and see what's going on. I don't know if you can see this, but the emergency blinkers are on the whole time. So I'm not really sure what that's about. That's a bit of a weird one. Cylinder 1's looking all right. Cylinder 2's at the top. Cylinder 3 is looking clean. Wow, these cylinders look pretty good. Yeah, I can't really see anything of concern, so I'm going to crank this up a little bit just to get the oil flowing. I'm going to put the plugs back in. Right, so the car started, which is promising. We've got no fuel in the front and no power to the fuel pump at the back. I'm guessing might be a fuse or a relay for the fuel pump. Unfortunately, the way the car's sitting on the trailer, I can't really open the other door to check the fuse there. So I'm gonna have to get it off the trailer, put it up on the lift in the garage, and figure out, you know, what's going on with all the electrical stuff. There's quite a few issues going on. The lights are blinking the whole time. So clearly there's some, you know, electrical faults. The loud noise from the exhaust is because the previous owner, for some odd reason, took off one of the cats because he thought his misfires were because of a clogged cat, and he was trying to diagnose misfires by removing exhaust. A little bit odd, I'm not gonna lie. Also, if you poke your head under the car, you may notice that it's actually missing more exhaust stuff. It looks like some person has done some funky exhaust work in here, taking out the rear mufflers and replacing them with straight pieces. Half the one on the right side, which apparently sheared off because of good craftsmanship, and has a hole like that in there. So all this to say, there's some work to be done. But interestingly enough, when the car did fire up, I did not get any codes for misfires, left or right bank of any sorts, and I can't really hear any ticking or any chain slack, but I'm not an expert. So I think what I'm going to do now is get the car on the lift, clean everything up, get rid of as much as I can of all the issues that are obvious. Maybe, you know, get a stock exhaust on, get the cat back on, do an oil change, maybe add some fuel stabilizer, replace the fuel, figure out why the fuel pump's not running. And I think we may be able to get to drive this car and see if these misfires will come back, or we might actually be very lucky. All right, that was short and sweet. I'm excited. Let's get this car on the road. I'll see you guys next time.